Hi, I'm Bruno. I run Slacker Tape Group here in Edmonton, Alberta. Let me show you around here a little bit and I can give you an explanation of what I do. So, if you come over here, I like to make cassettes. They're these little things. This one's not one of mine, but it's a really nice one that I'm excited to listen to. These are some of mine. I've made cassettes for Worried Shoes, for Rizzling, and Wizard Sludge. This is the very first one I did. This is Taste of Edmonton, number one. I made this because I asked my friends if they wanted to make music and put music on a cassette, and they said yes, and I'm very pleased about it. How did I make this? I have all these machines. These two are broken and they suck ass. This one has a broken motor. This one, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I just don't use it. Come over here. I have these two machines. This one, it's also broken. These two machines play cassettes. They also record cassettes. And the way that I record cassettes is that I play music from my computer. It goes through an interface behind this big desk right into my mixing board. From this mixing board, it goes right into this first cassette player in which I set the levels. I put a cassette in there and then I hit record. And then out from the back of this one, it goes into this next cassette player, which does basically the same thing. I record the cassettes, and these cassettes, they have to be recorded in real time. So if there's a 25-minute cassette I need to do, that's 25 minutes. Times that by 25, that's a lot. So that's what I like to do. That's basically Slacker Tape Group. These are some of the cassette cases that I have to fold. There's about 152 papers in this pile. These are all upcoming, these are all upcoming recordings that are going to be out on the tape label pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about these. So follow the Bandcamp and the Instagram and other social medias for more updates on that. These all have to be done by hand, so it's a really careful process, but you can know that it was done with care. So yes, anyone can start a label. It's actually ridiculously simple. Um, for me, the biggest like roadblock I think was finding people who would actually want to put music out on cassette. Because at first nobody ever really comes up to you and says, "Man, I really just wish like people would like put out my music somewhere." It kind of has to be something that was like dug up a little bit. So once I had like found a few people who actually wanted to put something out, then it became easier to sort of navigate that and then eventually make a label out of it. And honestly, the actual label part is signing up for like Bandcamp, SoundCloud, whatever. And then when you make the cassette itself, is like actually just printing the label and putting that down. Um, about like the roadblock specifically, the like financial roadblock really is just that it's a little bit expensive when you're starting out, just because you don't really know if it's going to like work out, because that can be kind of expensive depending on how many you order. That's why I kind of aim to do more limited runs of like 25, 50, that kind of thing. um, when it comes to like legal issues that you might run into, honestly, the biggest problem is dealing with streaming services. Streaming services fucking suck. Like getting anything on Spotify is a total nightmare. If you're working with music with samples, it's like almost always a dice roll. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a total mess. But when it comes to like establishing rules with the artist, usually people feel really excited by the fact that you're actually just putting something on cassette. And I feel like so long as you honor like what the artist wants done with their music, so long as you don't like hold their shit hostage, like that's something that I would never want to do. Then I feel like they're pretty willing to work with you on really any ground. So legally, there's never really been any issues like that. And then, yeah, for the artistic side of things, it's mostly just making sure that you honor what they actually want to do. For cassettes specifically, it's really exciting because cassettes can be of all different colors. You can get them in like kind of different formats as well. There can be transparent ones, different colors, that whole thing. There's different patterns and things look really cool. You can adjust the packaging however people might want it. If they want more information, less information, all that kind of stuff. So when I'm working with an artist, I try to sort of honor their word about that, see what their intention is, see if I can like highlight their values through making the actual cassette, right?
In that case, with your new releases, what has kind of been the roadblocks in getting those out? I know that you're doing a lot more stuff from outside the country because you're Edmonton based, but at the same time, most of your releases have been at least within the province, the country, and obviously, as I said, for these new releases, you are taking music from like I think the first one looks like it's from the States, some stuff from South America. How's that going?
Yeah, so when it comes to things outside of the country, you need to like talk with people over the internet, that kind of thing. That's usually not the biggest issue. It is just like cuz when I make some tapes, I end up giving a few for to the artist as well for them to distribute however they want to, if they want to sell it, if they want to give it to friends, family, whatever. Actually being able to send it out of the country can be kind of difficult. When it comes to stuff from like the United States, and other like we can say like Anglo English speaking countries that have sort of like trade relations with each other. Things like that can be a little bit easier, if not just expensive because of shipping. Like that can always be kind of a roadblock. But yeah, when it comes to sending stuff to like South America, for example, where the rules there are a little bit different, even things to Europe can be kind of expensive and like kind of crazy. Um, it's kind of a challenge, and you have to take each one like circumstantially based on whatever rules that country might have, whatever rules your country might have for like blocking sales, any sort of embargoes, all that shit. That's when it becomes business related stuff. Like for the tape making side, people are always excited about it almost no matter what. But yeah, like dealing with the business side of the label, that kind of thing, that's probably another big headache that people might run into if you actually want to send your music to like international spaces. Then that's all business related stuff, and you might need to look into like the rules there, the rules here, all that kind of thing.
And a little bit of a kind of a fun question. What was your favorite sample to clear, and what was your most unexpected sample you had to clear?
I actually don't really know any off the or actually no, that's not true. There is a case that there's actually a song from the first Rizzling album, Zweit, that we actually just had to like remove the song, and it was really unfortunate, but the reason for it makes like no sense whatsoever. And if you ask Christian, he'll say the same thing, that it makes literally like it makes no sense because we released a short version of that song with a um God, it was like Sega samples, and it got released on Taste of Edmonton 1. It's like the short mix of the song. Sounded great, whatever. I think that one had like some minor issues, but it like went through eventually. But then when I was uploading the album version, that was like a longer song, it was being like copyright claimed for the short version as well as from Sega. So it was a total mess. We couldn't get the song on there because it's fucking bullshit. So if anyone out there wants to listen to the full version of that song, get that shit on tape or on Bandcamp. Um, Other than that, there's a few songs that have had some like sample issues. It's a matter of like tweaking it a little bit, but it's always ended up going through eventually. The pain in the ass is just like having to do it in the first place. When I duplicate something onto tape, I don't have to deal with that at all. When I sell it from a store, nobody ever really complains. Things like that, like I'm sure it was a big deal in the '90s with I know like Boards of Canada had the shit. I mean, a whole bunch of like hip hop artists from the '90s had problems with samples that were like real legal disputes, and I'm not really sure that happens all that much now, especially for like small artists. I mean, like I'm doing like 25 of these. It's not like a huge like slice of the market or whatever. It's for whoever's interested, right? So yeah, samples can be difficult. They can be kind of tricky, but they eventually go through. If someone's starting out a new tape label, for example, um, a big obstacle that they'll probably run into is actually just finding the equipment themselves. It's possible to buy cassettes online with the preloaded music and whatever on there, but if you're really dedicated and you want to do it very DIY, I mean, all these machines that I have around here, these weren't acquired just one day on eBay. It's been what 5, 6 years of just like every time I go to the thrift store, find like electronics. Some of these don't work, some of them need to be repaired in some ways. So finding the actual equipment can be really tricky. And also, there's no like textbook on how to do any of this. This process was almost entirely just invented by myself. There's like some resources that you can find online, but there's nothing really comprehensive. And uh, so yeah, it can be a difficult process to actually get into. And then once you are in it, kind of like how I was saying, it can be super tedious just because it's all done in real time. If you want to get good quality recording, then it has to be done in real time. There's just no way around it. You can buy you can buy tape duplicators, but they might not have the same kind of quality that it comes with. Comes with doing it real time from a real machine. So finding the machines can be difficult. It's a tedious process. So when it compares that with like CD, for example, which you can buy like a little CD reader for $50 and then just start copying CDs, and then package them off and send them off like that. And then CDs are more accessible. So tapes do take up a smaller portion just because it takes a lot more effort to actually get the thing done, as well as there's less people who are actually interested in listening to music on cassette. There's less people who have a tape player in their car, in their living room, their kitchen nowadays than a CD player, for example. People might have a convenient CD player that they might have with like some other device that they have, their car, for example. But yeah, tape players just aren't as accessible. So you could also just run into issues with like finding people who actually have the thing itself to listen to your music too.
When it comes to, burning CDs, doing cassettes, which process is, like, inherently more enjoyable? And what I mean by that is that in the midst of it, right? You said that while you were telling me that while you were doing cassettes, you kinda have to play it in real time, and that kind of for me, that sounds terrible just because, like, I've burnt CDs before, and some of the pleasure in burning a CD is being able to do other things while you're burning a CD,
Hmm.
but it sounds kinda painful to be able to just have to listen to that same cassette recording, like, 50 times over and over and over again, even if it's good.
Yeah, yeah. So so yeah, since it does have to be played in real time, it's like you're going to be playing that album, that cassette. Like for example, the last like big chunk that I did was 100 tapes of one album. So I had to do that same process 100 times for a 40-minute album. That's ages and ages. It took days to just like get it done. I'm in the unique position of being able to work from home. So even while I'm at work, I'm just burning cassettes, burning cassettes, burning cassettes. I have it muted because I would go crazy if I had to listen to it like all the time. Um, but yeah, it can take a very long time. It's fortunate that you can do other things while it's also going. But then you feel this pressure. It's like, no, I can't go out because I need to like flip these cassettes every like 25 minutes, and then I need to package them, and then I need to set the other one in there, and I need to make sure this. It can be a little bit pressure inducing, but I love that shit. I love that shit. Um, Whenever I like start a new album that I need to duplicate, for example, like setting all the levels correctly, playing with the levels a little bit, trying like these tapes in this order, trying to like flip the order of the actual machines, like see which one is going into which one, like switching things around, all these like minute little details, they feel kind of exciting to play with. And then actually like taking them out, and it's like, okay, let's go listen to them, try it on this machine, try it on that machine, try it on this machine. Every one of them sounds like a little bit different, a little bit different. So there's a lot of like idiosyncrasies that each machine offers that you kind of need to experiment a little bit with. And yeah, like having especially like these two that are still working, fortunately, for what, like 4 years at this point. Like you kind of become acquainted with them. You sort of build a relationship with how the machine works, the way that it like communicates with the tape, and uh just how, yeah, how it functions.
At this point, you say you've been doing this for years. What is kind of the dream setup you hope to build up to?
I want more machines, more cassette players. Because yeah, I have two now. One of them busted. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it. Something with the motor, I think. That's the problem. I'm not a technician, so I don't know how to fix it. But I would like to have a few more, I think, so that way just like duplicating takes less time, which means that it can do like more in general. The same amount of time that would take to do 25 of one could now be done for like 3 of 25, for example. So I'd love to be doing that. I need a color printer because all of these need to be purchased at like Skona Prints, for example. Um, I would also like to continue because it's not just cassettes. Tapes are VHSs as well. So I'm trying to move into working with VHSs a little bit. I have a bunch of VHS players that I want to start duplicating tapes onto, selling like music videos, other things, whatever else that that artist might want to have done. Um, I love that shit. I love like packaging and manufacturing things, labeling them, giving them each like a little catalog number. I don't know. I don't really know what like the next step is. Probably just have more machines that work. But yeah, move into CDs maybe. Yeah, there's still a lot that needs to be done, and there's only so much time that I can actually invest into all of this. So it's something that I want to continue working on as well. So most of the time, especially this was a pattern that really emerged with like the first taste of Edmonton was just that uh, I would hear something interesting that came out of the city. Everything was starting from Edmonton. I would hear something interesting and then I would just ask them, "Hey, can I put this on tape? I think this is really cool. Can I publish this?" And yeah, usually people were really excited about it. So it was always a very simple process. These were always people who I was like at least acquainted with first, if not just straight up friends with them. And and then yeah, and then as like things started growing out a little bit more, like the circle of artists that I knew started to become a little bit more developed, and like I knew some people who were like a little bit more outside that I would like yeah I would approach them and be like, can I make this? Then like the relationship would start being built. I don't think it's ever been like a super like paper like we have to do this and this and this and like and here's your 25 cassettes and then never speak to them again. It's always maintained like a very casual, very like low key, very I don't know, very nice like simple relationship like that. And everyone that I've worked with has always been super friendly, super nice, all that stuff. um and yeah, there has been occasions where like you end up becoming closer with people as it goes along. um some of the next cassettes that I have coming up, um, with those Venezuelan producers, Weed 420. Um, I just like I started like talking with them on online, and we would just like end up talking about shit, and then all of a sudden we're like playing Counter Strike and shit. So yeah, people like I think people do want to like become friends with each other when it comes to like making music. I feel like things become a little bit easier like that. So yeah, I always try to maintain like very like friendly sort of relationship with people as things go along. And yeah. First, Tessa, Jason, Jackson, Janine, Nadia, Christian, Eli, Matthew, who puts on the Noise Cafe shows. You're fantastic. Keep booking that shit. Ethan Bachma does a lot of fantastic archival recordings and also performs under Brick Road. Listen to Brick Road. I want to give a big shout out to Egypt. That goes out to Ahmed and Mo, better known as Gooby, whom Gooby and Christian just put out an album today, El Bonnie Doom. Listen to it; it's really good. Shout outs to Fisher. Shout outs to Sean. Shout outs to Badham. That's Chloe, C, and Andrew. Shout outs to faculty. That's Billy and Bia. Shout outs to Coda. I love you, Coda. Shout outs to Jonathan under the name Garlands. Great noise musician. Shout out to Nate and Jacob of Disarray and Nurse. Shout outs to Lauren. Shout outs to Mustafa Rafiq. Shout outs to Chris Burwash and by extension Listen Records. And shout outs to Blackbird Records. Thank you so much.